What Liberty has done in his lifetime and continues to do is so inspiring at so many different levels. And having the opportunity to have this chance to be able to sit down with Lib, and as we had with many other great legends, some of them that are no longer with us, to have the chance to kind of sit down and just kind of reflect on the craziness of our lives and how fast it's all gone by. Liberty, I gotta start by saying the name Liberty. Now, because I've known you for probably 40 plus years, I know all these stories, but I want to make sure everyone gets to hear these and deliver them. Liberty, the name Liberty, is it short for anything? Is it a nickname? Where did that all come from?
I grew up Italian. My father's side of the family is from Naples, and my mother's side of the family is from Sicily. My name is really Liberatore, which means liberator or liberty. And when my mother tried to register me in school, the teacher said, "What's his name?" She said, "Liberatore," and the teacher said, "Well, they're going to mess that up. What can we call him?" So they said, "You call him Liberty." So I was named after my uncle, who was killed in World War II, my father's brother. And he used to have fights when he was a kid because they called him Liberty. And he had fights because we live in New York, and the statue in the harbor is a woman. And it's the Statue of Liberty. So he used to have to fight his way around. I lucked out because in the 60s, Liberty became a really popular thing, you know? And to have the name Liberty, everybody's like, "Oh, were your parents were hippies?" Or, you know, stuff like that. So I was fortunate to have a name that people remember, and being in this business and have a name that people can remember.
Well, for sure, in the New York scene, when we heard your name and then, of course, heard you play, it really kind of, you always played with such freedom. When you played with such commitment and such freedom that it really kind of seemed to fit really well.
Well, it's funny because when we went to the Soviet Union with Billy Joel in 1986. Now, nobody here can do that because there is no more Soviet Union. So, but I went over there and I was a little nervous going because my name was Liberty. You know, imagine going to the communist country and they're supposedly our enemy. I mean, when I was in grammar school, I used to get under the desk because they were going to drop bombs on us, like as if the desk was going to stop a nuclear bomb from affecting me. But we played a couple of gigs in England, and I'm flying on a German airline, Lufthansa, and I'm thinking, okay, we beat them in World War II. And we're kind of like flying into the Soviet Union, the enemy, and I'm thinking like, I'm going to get off the plane and there's going to be three-headed dragons breathing fire, because that's what I was taught in school, and my name is Liberty. They're going to put me in jail as soon as I get off the plane, you know? But what happened was, we just did a video now. They're making a documentary of 25 years ago we went to the Soviet Union and how it affected us and how it affected them. So I did my interview at the same time as the interpreter that Billy used on stage did his interview. And I had mentioned this story that I just told you, that I was afraid, and you know. So when I went there, I went gung-ho American. I mean, I had American flags on my jacket. I was wearing an American flag shirt. You can see it in the video that we have out. I had American flags hanging off my cage that my drum set was on and everything like that. To the point where Billy said, "You gotta tone it down, man. You're going crazy with this stuff." So it was funny because when the interviewer came up and he said the way that we affected them was, when the audience looked up and saw me playing drums and saw the flag on my chest and flags all around me, they didn't see an American per se. They saw someone with total freedom to do whatever he wanted to do at that moment, which they were not allowed to do. And for me, that was like, wow. That's how much that impressed him, to be able to be free. And he said, if you guys ever come back again to do a reunion tour or play in the Soviet Union, you have to do drum clinics, because we have great musicians in Russia, but they are still under the you can't do certain things. And to be a great drummer, especially a great rock drummer or jazz drummer, you have to be free to do whatever you feel that you need to do at that moment. And they are not allowed to do that. In other forms of life, so they don't know how to express themselves on the drum set like we do, because we're so free.
Absolutely. You know, it's kind of funny, interesting, you mentioned about the Long Island days, you were playing with some bands and you were inspired to play drums. Talk about that first moment when you were inspired to play the drums.
Well, that was when, of course, the Beatles came on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Which next year is 50 years.
Yes.
February.
Was it that long ago?
February, yeah.
That's funny, because I'm only like 29 now. Like 50 years now. No, it was, the Beatles were on the Ed Sullivan Show, and you know, and I saw that whole thing about the girls, you know, screaming for them and everything like that, and I thought, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to be in a band. And I pointed at the TV, and I didn't necessarily say, I want to play the drums. I said, I want to be in a band like that. That was my dream, to be in a band. So, because it was the drums, my mother said, why don't you go for some lessons? And so I went to the local music store at the time, in Massapequa, I think it was, and the teacher started to teach me, and I said, hey, when are you going to teach me how to play like Ringo? And he said, what do you want to play like Ringo for? He stinks. And I said, well, I saw these girls screaming for him last night, and I don't see anybody knocking on your door. So that was the end of my lessons. So I'm self-taught. So I would put on the headphones, because records became my books. I'd put on the headphones, and I would play to the records. And I would make believe that I was like playing in the band. And I had a problem though, because I couldn't read music now, because I wasn't taking lessons. How was I supposed to know where I was in the song? I got an idea. I'll learn the lyrics of the song, and I'll sing along with the song, so I know where I am in the tune. And so I'd be playing along, and I'd be singing along with the lyrics, so I know where I am in the thing. And I was able to take that into the studio when I finally got with Billy Joel. Other guys would have, the guitar player would have the music written out, and the bass player would have music written out. I would have Billy's lyrics, because I want to know what the song is about, because that's the emotion I'm going to put in it. Just knowing the title of a song, you can put in different emotion. Like, you will play a song called I Love You More Than Anything, a whole lot different than you'll play a song called I Hate Your Guts So Badly I'm Gonna Crash My Parents' Car Through Your Front Door, right? There's probably gonna be a lot of bass drum in there, double bass drum, China cymbals and stuff like that, right? A lot of crashing, where I Love You More Than Anything will be maybe a little brush, a little, you know, cross stick. So just knowing the title and the words will dictate how you're gonna play that tune, you know, and that's what I did. I took that in the studio, because when I was playing along with the Beatles, I realized, hey, you know, the drummer does his drum fill when the singer stops singing. Well, the drummer does a drum fill to take the band into a more exciting place, like the chorus or the bridge, you know? I see a lot of guys that are like, they learn stuff in their lesson, and they come out and they sit with their band, and you imagine if it was the song, who knows, We Didn't Start the Fire. That was like probably the last single that we had out. So when I played on We Didn't Start the Fire, very basic. Right, like that. And there's that whole percussion thing that we did, that we didn't start the fire. Right, that's in the background. Imagine today, somebody comes out of their lesson, and they're like, how you doing, Thursday, Richard? What happens? What happened to the song? Out the window. Who's next out the window? You, drummer, out the window, get out. You know, so that's where I learned to less is more, or to follow the song. That's why I became a songwriter's drummer.
Well, I think the magic of that is the fact that with this experience that you had in understanding music just from an inherent, natural way, then you meet up with Billy.
Yes.
On Long Island, you meet up, you guys get together, with his talent of writing the way it is, and your connection of understanding how to play behind a vocalist and writer like him, magic was born.
Yeah, it was fortunate that Billy was a classically trained pianist that loved rock and roll. And I'm a street guy that just loves music and loves to play the drums. You know, I believe that a band is only as good as a drummer, as its drummer. And if you disagree with me, that means you play guitar or keyboard or bass or something like that. But, you know, you can walk into a place and you can hear a guitar player might be shredding, like, you have Joe Satriani up there, but the drummer stinks. You're like, oh, this is boring, let's get out of here, right? But you can go into like a garage and see a garage band, and the drummer's killing it. And the kids are playing chords like, clang, but the drummer's killing it, you know, and you're moving. The drummer moves you. The drummer, when I played with Billy, and I was sitting behind that drum kit, and I saw people in the audience go like this. They weren't doing that to Billy. That's me they're doing that to. When they're moving, they're doing this. When Billy's getting into it, he's getting into it because I'm into it. We are in the middle of the stage. We are the ones that when the song starts, we click the sticks off and then everybody's in, right? We're the ones that go like this. Not yet. Bam! Everybody ends, right? We control the world. Well, we should. But we don't have melody.
Be a much better world if we did.
Yes, it would.
So within that, I was able to witness several recording sessions that you did with Billy. And it was always, to be the fly on the wall was always magical. Of course, just the way you are was classic the way you played the tune, because you really, you know, we always make the comparison to certain drum grooves that make the song. That clearly is one of them that has the ability of being able to incorporate different tools. You used a brush and a stick.
Yes. Well, people, I remember after we recorded that song, people were like, oh, how did you come up with that brush and stick thing? You know, it's funny because when we first started to play the song, I don't know if you know the song Stevie Wonder did, You Are the Sunshine of My Life. We played it like that, you know. Don't go changing, you know, like that. But it was like wimpy, you know, really wimpy. So when everybody said, how did you come up with the brush and the stick? I said, it was easy because before Billy, these are things people don't know, I played at the Narragansett Inn where you played. I played weddings for 2.5 years. And when you do a bossa nova, you use a brush and a stick. So it was simple for me to pick up a brush and a stick. I was used to it. The funny thing is with the weddings was before I played weddings, when I was 18 years old, there was a rock singer from Michigan. His name was Mitch Ryder. I don't know if you know him. He did a song called Devil in a Blue Dress, Jenny Takes a Ride, Sock It to Me Baby. He had a bunch of hits on the radio. And I got a call to play with him. And it was funny because I used to be in a band that played locally on Long Island. And my band opened up once for the Vanilla Fudge, and Carmine Appice was in the Vanilla Fudge. Now, I was jamming with Vinnie Martell because I was asked by the bass player, come on down to jam. Vinnie likes to jam. He likes to play. So we used to jam in the back of their management office, which was Breakout Management. And one day, Mitch's people got sick. So they came to Breakout. The drummer, Johnny Siomas, who went on to be Frampton Comes Alive drummer, he got sick, and they went to Breakout Management to look for a drummer. And they said, do you know any good drummers that can play? And they said, well, there's this kid in the back that jams with Vinny. You know, he's pretty good. So they called me up, and he says, hi, I'm so-and-so from Mitch Ryder's band. We need a drummer. Our drummer's very sick. And we heard you're pretty good. I said, okay, well, when do you need me? They said, tonight. I said, I'm 18. I said, can I do it tomorrow? And my father has to drive me in the city. I didn't have a driver's license. So the next day I go in, my father takes me in, and it was, they put the equipment on the bus, get on the bus, drive to the gig in Connecticut, and the first time I see Mitch is when he comes on the stage. That's how I met Mitch Ryder. But I had known the records, I was a fan of his. All the sax players said was, look, when I go like this, stop. When I go like this, we stop. Okay, cool. So anyway, that leading up to the weddings, right? So I had played the rock star thing. So now I had a car accident and I was going to give up the drums, but every time I drove to work, I worked at this place called Fowler Mailman. If you get junk mail in your mailbox, it comes from a place like Fowler. We just put all the coupon stuff in the letters and it mails out. But every day on the way to work, the radio was playing. And I would hear the music, and it kept calling me back like, you really want to do this, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I do. I got engaged to a girl, we were going to get married, I had a job now, it was great. I said, you know what? I can't do this. I got to play again. So my friend kept calling me, my friend Bobby Ray kept calling me, and he wanted me to sit in because he played the weddings. He said, I can't make this wedding. I kept telling him, no, I don't want to play. I'm not playing weddings. I played with Mitch Ryder, right? So he calls me one day and he goes, look, you're playing. I told him you're coming. So he kind of made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I had to borrow his tuxedo. Meanwhile, my hair is down to here because I'm 18 years old, 19 years old now. And I go in there, I got a bow tie on, and I am playing with the Sonny D band, right? The wedding. It's a sax player, a trumpet player, and an accordion player. That was it. The accordion player, I don't know where he got the strength to hold this thing up. He was so old. The trumpet player, how did he blow this thing? I don't know. And the sax player, slicked back here, kept going over here, picking up a scotch soda, lighting up a cigarette. Okay, let's go. I'm thinking, what did I do? My career is over. It's done. I'm finished. It's over. What an idiot. I was with a rock star last week. Now I'm playing weddings. What? This is ridiculous. I'm so much better than this. All of a sudden, the trumpet player turns around and goes, the bride wants to start with a merengue. Well, what the hell is a merengue? I thought it was something you eat. I learned more about music in that 2.5 years I stayed at those weddings by learning ethnic music and learning how to play jazz, forced to play jazz, forced to play polkas. And I incorporated that into me, always wanting to be a rock drummer, into my style of playing. Figured out how to be no percussion player. I got to cover both parts. And I took that into Billy. And when Billy wrote a song like New York State of Mind, I knew how to groove that because I had done it with an old standard, while playing weddings.
Absolutely.